No objection.
No objection.
Next witness. All right, this time the state would call Master Deputy John Garrett.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Thank you. Please state your name for the record.
Johnathon Garrett.
Master Deputy Garrett, that's your current rank, Master Deputy?
And our investigator.
Investigator. Okay. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
I know we brought it out there, but where are you currently employed?
Greenville County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. And what role specifically?
I'm a homicide investigator.
Okay. Were you employed with the Sheriff's Office back in October of 2021?
I was.
Okay. And what role? Was it same?
I was a homicide investigator. Then homicide.
Okay. Were you involved in the present case specifically on October 13th of 2021?
I was.
Okay. Did you respond to the scene at 122 Canebrake?
I did.
And when you were responding to the scene, what specifically was your role there? What were your priorities in responding to the scene?
I was at the law enforcement center at the homicide office when the call came in, and other investigators and officers were already at the scene. So before I left, I was tasked with obtaining the search warrant for the scene at 122 Canebrake.
Okay. And so on getting that search warrant, do you thereafter go through the scene?
Yes, I do.
The house, I mean.
Correct. And once I obtained it, I delivered it to the scene and responded for any other duties they were requesting.
Okay. What were your observations of the scene at the time that you went through it?
When I got there, the road was blocked off, probably a block or two on each side, by patrol vehicles, yellow crime scene tape, and we also had personnel blocking intersections and protecting the scene around 122.
Okay. And so going through the house, what were your observations there specifically? I
didn't do that until later that evening. I was there for hours. Crime scenes was processed and documented the scene. So I was waiting for another task, and I was documenting information where other investigators were going door to door looking for like video surveillance and things like that. But I didn't have another task until later in the afternoon. I did a secondary search, or later. It was hours later, almost at dusk, to go to the crime scene.
So that would be after the technicians go through, collect
Correct.
what they deem necessary?
Yes.
Okay. So at the time you went through the scene, were you able to identify or collect anything at that time?
Yes. I was with the investigator's department at the time in a white clear plastic bag with a white powder substance in the living room near the front door.
Okay. You said the living room. Was the living room the same room that Ms. Parcell was found?
That's correct.
Okay. If I showed you a picture of that substance, would you recognize it?
I would.
Okay. Approaching you with State's Exhibit 9 and State's Exhibit 37. Starting with State's Exhibit 37, what is that?
That's the clear plastic bag with a white powder substance I observed in the living room area that you spoke of.
Okay. And did you subsequently, and I don't want to say collect it, but did you subsequently pick it up to identify it?
I did.
Okay. Showing you what State's Exhibit 9. Can you confirm for me that that is the bag that you picked up and identified?
It is.
Okay. So that's the position that you found that bag when you went to the house.
That's correct.
And then 9 is the actual bag.
That's it.
At this time, the state would move State's Exhibit 9.
Which is 9. Now, I don't have a problem with the photograph coming into evidence. I don't think the full foundation has been completed for 9 in order to be entered into evidence.
I'm happy to continue later.
Number 37 comes into evidence, lay the foundation.
After collecting what is State's Exhibit 9, what did you do after that?
I conducted a field test on it to see if it was a controlled substance.
Why do you say, so in your first observations, you believed it to be a controlled substance?
Yes, sir. I had a previous assignment in narcotics for 14 years, and to me it appeared to be the way it was packaged, and appeared to be a controlled substance.
Okay, so what occurred after you conducted a field test?
It did a presumptive test for cocaine with a field test.
After that field test was conducted, what did you do thereafter with
It was ultimately secured in the property and evidence section at the Greenville County Law Enforcement Center to be secured.
So it was thereafter submitted into evidence?
It was.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move into evidence. What is State's Exhibit 9?
Can I just on again continue my objection? There hasn't been a full chain established yet throughout the continuation of where that evidence went. So until that happens, we would have an objection to it being entered.
Anything from the state?
Your Honor, a full chain doesn't need to be established at this point. This is the individual that collected State's Exhibit 9, conducted the initial, the field test of State's Exhibit 9. At this point, the foundation's been laid for whatever it may be to be introduced.
I agree. Your objection stands on the record.
After collecting what was State's Exhibit 9 during your time on the 13th at Canebrake, what other roles were you associated with there?
I did a secondary search later after other investigators searched the rooms, but I never found anything significant of evidentiary value.
Understood. Thank you, Investigator Garrett. I have no further questions for you.
Thank you. So what was the reason for going back into the residence later that day?
I was on another team we were assigned different rooms to search for evidence, and I can't remember the rooms I searched, but I think there were the living room, another bedroom, and there's multiple rooms in the residence, and groups had already searched, and then other investigators would search and cross and search behind them to make sure we didn't miss anything or just double check each room.
Do you know how many investigators and forensics technicians had already searched the house?
I don't. I know there were several out there, several investigators and a lot of forensic technicians, but I don't know the exact number.
Around what time was it when you and Investigator Sparkman went back in to do the subsequent search?
Dusk, around 6:30-ish.
Okay, and State's Exhibit 37. So you said this accurately portrays where that bag with suspected controlled substance was when you saw it?
It does.
That is before it was moved.
As far as what?
I'm sorry. This is before any officers.
That's right. That's where forensics documented its original location.
And so it is clearly observable to somebody walking by?
Yeah, you can see it. It was pointed out pretty early, I think.
Okay, so had that already been known to have been there? Or did you find it?
It was already known. It was brought to my attention.
So somebody already told you that there's suspected controlled
Correct.
substance in there, and you
Correct.
went back and get it? Okay. And so what you did with that bag then was you took it to the property and evidence room?
Eventually, yes, sir.
Okay. When would that have been? How much later?
It was that day. I think it was logged in on the 13th. Later that day, myself and Investigator Sparkman together did it.
Okay. You, Investigator Sparkman. Do you know who's? Was it you, Investigator Sparkman, in the chain of custody?
Him. I was with him because I went and field tested before we took it. And
And,
therefore, we gave me the item number JS4, Sheriff Sparkman 4.
Okay.
The item number.
And do you know who got it out of the property and evidence room?
To be tested.
Do you, what do you, let me just ask you what you're pulling out there to refresh your memory with.
Property and evidence sheet, which would document the chain of custody. Or actually the lab report. I don't have what chemist, but it would have been brought out later, at a later date, to be positively identified by the forensic crime lab, but I don't know which chemist did it.
Okay, so would the chemist have come and gotten it, or did somebody else get it and take it to the chemist?
No, the chemist would come down. They would put in a request saying it wanted to be analyzed, and then the chemist would come from the lab, pick it up out of property and evidence, and take it back to the lab.
Okay, so you don't know who the chemist was?
I do know.
So you don't know who then had that state's exhibit number 9 after you?
I don't.
Did you bring it to court today?
I did not.
Do you know who brought it to court today?
Not exactly. I could assume it would be the lead investigator, investigator's department.
Do you know who gave it to investigator's department?
In property and evidence, I do not.
Just a couple other questions. Did you have any other involvement in the case after the 13th?
Yes, I obtained another search warrant for 2 Tyndall Avenue.
Okay, and when did you write your report?
I wrote it months earlier, but it wasn't finalized until October 2024. It was a rough draft. It did not get processed.
What does being processed mean?
Clear through the what we call our Code 5, an incident report system, where it's set in limbo for a time as a draft before it was approved.
Okay, when was it approved?
October 15, 2024.
2024. Was that after you met with the prosecutor's office to prepare for trial?
I'm not sure if that's when we did it or not. I can't recall when we met. But it was close to that because we're doing an inventory of what needed to be done, and this is one thing that needed to be done.
For finalizing the report?
That's correct.
One moment, please. Thank you. Nothing further.
Anything else?
I was gonna say, now call Kristen McCall.